In a previous video, we learned how to use a for loop to loop over a list. In this video, we're going to take the next step and learn how to use a for loop to loop over a range of numbers. For example, from 1 to 100. It is called a range-based for loop, and it's one of the most commonly used looping techniques in Python.
Let's first look at the general syntax of a range-based for loop in Python. Here, variable is the loop variable. It takes one value at a time from the sequence generated by range function. The start value is where the loop begins. The stop value is where the loop ends. But very important, the stop value is exclusive, meaning it is not included. The step value controls how much the variable changes each time. Out of these three values, only stop is required. If start is missing, Python automatically assumes it is 0. If step is also missing, Python assumes it is 1. So by default, Python counts upward, starting from 0, increasing by 1 each time.
Now let's talk about range function itself in more detail. Range is a built-in Python function that generates a sequence of numbers. It's most commonly used with for loops when we want to repeat something a specific number of times. By default, the numbers produced by range function start from the start value, or 0 if missing, go up to but do not include the stop value, increase or decrease by the step value. One important thing to know is that range function does not create all numbers at once. Instead, it generates them one at a time, which makes it very memory efficient. So in short, range function helps us control how many times a loop runs and what values the loop variable takes.
Range function can be used in exactly 3 forms. Number 1, use range with only one argument, stop. Number 2, use range with 2 arguments, start and stop. Number 3, use range with all 3 arguments, start, stop, and step. Notice something important here. We cannot skip only the start value. If the start value is missing, then the step must also be missing. This restriction exists because Python reads values from left to right. If we only provided 2 numbers, Python would always treat them as start and stop, not stop and step. Because of this ambiguity, Python allows only these 3 specific forms.
Let's look at some examples to make this clearer. Range 5 generates numbers from 0 to 4. The number 5 is the stop value, and remember, as we mentioned before, the stop value is exclusive. Range 1 to 6. This generates numbers from 1 to 5. Again, 6 is excluded. Range 1 to 10 with step equals 2. This generates the numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Here, the step value of 2 means we increase by 2 each time. Let's try a negative step value. Here, we have start value 5 and stop value 0. The step is -1. This generates numbers 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here, the step is -1, so the numbers decrease. The loop stops before reaching 0 because the stop value is exclusive.
Now, let's use range function inside an actual for loop. First, let's see a for loop example using range with stop value 5. In this loop, end starts at 0, and it goes up to 4. The loop runs exactly 5 times. Each number from 0 to 4 is printed. Here is the second for loop example, which is using range with start equals 1 and stop equals 6. Here, the loop starts at 1, and the loop stops before 6. It prints numbers from 1 to 5. Again, the loop runs 5 times. Now let's see the third for loop example using range with start equals 1, stop equals 10, and step equals 2. In this case, the loop starts at 1, and it increases by 2 each time, and stops before 10. This prints all odd numbers from 1 to 9. Here is the next for loop example using range with start equals 5, stop equals 0, and step equals -1. Here, the loop starts at 5, decreases by 1 each time, and it stops before 0. This prints numbers from 5 down to 1. So that's how range-based for loops work in Python. Once you understand how start, stop, and step behave, especially the fact that the stop value is exclusive, you'll be able to write loops very confidently. Thank you.